What's up, y'all? LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, this is my prediction for what will become the meta shooting guard build in 2K23 for Comp Pro-Am. Now, the reason I'm getting at this right here is because what is currently the meta is a 6'3" at generally like probably a little bit lower weight than this, because truly what most people have for their 6'3s is a little bit more dunk than this, a little bit less perimeter defense than this, but they still have this right here, the 99 steal. Now, what makes a build like this so ridiculous, and do not pay mind to the speed and acceleration right now, because what I'm getting at right here is to also talk about how 6'1s literally just have more attribute points. So everything that you just saw right there between the finishing, shooting, playmaking, and defense is literally the exact same on this build, except for literally 15 speed and 15 acceleration. You get that much more for just being 6'1" instead of 6'3". For those who don't know, 6'1s are kind of a glitched height in this year's game. It hasn't been talked about a whole lot because obviously what most people talk about are the 6'9s and maybe 6'8s as well, and then generally 6'7s for like the pure lock factor and stuff like that as well. But what I find so crazy about these 6'1s is, like I said, you literally get more attribute caps than any other height. If you go lower than 6'1 at like 6 foot and below, it doesn't give you anything more. If you go higher than 6'1, like 6'2, 6'3, 6'4, you don't get anything more either. It's just 6'1s are literally a glitched height as far as attribute points. So what people are using for point guards in Pro-Am are 6'1s. So this right here is what I deem to be the meta shooting guard build in Comp Pro-Am. Now, let's talk about this real quick. Nobody uses this currently in Pro-Am. I don't know why either though, for that matter. They all kind of just follow these trends. They see the default lineups. They'd be like, oh, everybody uses a 6'1", 6'3", 6'7", 6'9", and 6'11", or 7 foot, or maybe a 7. The only thing that really has variance right now is probably the big man at the 5. It can generally be anything between like 6'11" to probably 7'2", something like that. Maybe the 4s generally swing between 6'9" to 7 foot as well, but it's a little bit of an uncommon thing to be a super tall power forward anymore. But you don't see anybody come out here with this at shooting guard, and I have no idea why. I think it's just the modernized like sort of thing with the Comp Pro-Am heads. They just kind of follow the trends that everybody else sets. But as far as if you want to make a build that truly is good at the 2, I think this is crazy, bro. It's absolutely insane. As you can see, 80 dunk for quick drops. You still have the silver limitless takeoff as well. Enough finishing badges for that. 77 layup right here instead of going up in the close shot, by the way, is just to get fearless finisher on silver, and that's a pretty decent thing to have for your finishing badges as well between the tier 1s and tier 2s. For the shooting, you have 92 3-pointer, as always. 24 shooting badges goes a long way too. You can obviously core 2 badges right here. Now, this works for you whether you go for that level 40 reward or not, as far as the core badge changing and stuff like that, because it would be convenient to get 2 extra like shooting core badges and stuff like that. So for instance, to run the 2 shooting, 1 playmaking, 1 defense, and cut out the finishing, that would be very convenient with this. But even if you don't, 24 goes long enough for you to core 1 shooting and then equip 2 others in the tier 3s, so you can still run like Agent 3, Blinders, and Limitless Range as well, paired with then some Green Machine and Amped as well. So it's definitely doable as far as that, but if you do add the shooting, it goes even harder. You could get things like Mini Magician, you can max out Green Machine and Amped as well, maybe even run some catch and shoot right here, because as I said, I really do think this is the shooting guard build as well, and that's why it would be really convenient to get those extra shooting badges. And as far as finishing goes, it doesn't really matter quite as much. Limitless takeoff is pretty much all you need at this point in 80 dunk for the quick drops. It's pretty unfortunate that that's the truth, but it is what it is. 89 ball handle gets you that Hall of Fame quick first step. Now, the reason I'm saying this is a good build, and you guys are maybe looking at the ratings and you're like, why would you make a 6'1 that has 89 ball handle and only 88 acceleration? Well, I ask myself that exact same thing when people make 6'3s, because they're completely troll builds. They look horrible. It doesn't have nearly as good as this perimeter defense. It doesn't have even really anything better for acceleration. Generally, they put theirs to like 89 or 90 or something like that, but this is ridiculous, bro. I mean, you have the pure lock factor. What really stands out with this build too, by the way, is the fact that if you put 4 extra defensive badges into this build, mind you, I only have this block rating up for the reason of getting 28 defensive badges, because if you put 4 extra, and I'm saying this because everybody can do that, you can at least get 4, you will have 32 then, and if that is the case, you can equip all of the badges between Glove, Interceptor, Clamps, and Challenger on the tier 3s at the max level if you have all those badges with the +4s, and it gets you to 32, because then you'll core one of the things between Glove and Interceptor on the Hall of Fame level. You'll be able to run all 4 of those, plus maybe like some Pick Dodger and Workhorse on gold a piece, because you obviously have to put the 10 points between the tier 1 and tier 2. Or if you go out the corner, obviously you may want like Box Out Beast, maybe some Rebound Chaser, who knows, probably not. You do still get 56 D-board with this though. But my whole point here is that you guard wing on defense and you play offensively on the wing as well. So you contribute as a secondary ball handler. You still have the Hall of Fame quick first step. Your acceleration is not bad either. 99 steal, 92 prim D with the gold clamps, gold challenger, Hall of Fame glove, and interceptor as well. And just in general, you can't get babied, obviously. I'm even debating running 2 of these on Team Pro Am as well, and you can just have them at the 1 and the 2. Simple as that. And it's going to be double 99 steal. You can't pick on a guard either for that matter. And that's the whole key to these builds if you ask me. I know this video is titled about the Pro Am shooting guard factor of it. It's honestly selling it short, because what I think this build could be devious for too is to come out here and play park at PG, or even for that matter, even a rec point guard or something like that too. You get lined up at the 1, you can guard the 1, like let's say you play with randoms or something like that. You can still quick drop, you can still shoot the ball, you can still handle at a plenty decent rate. It will struggle with pure locks on it, I will say that much at the very least, but for the sake of park and rec, it generally isn't going to be such an issue, and you yourself are a pure lock in a sense. You get all 4 of those tier 3 badges in the Hall of Fame or gold level, and you have 99 steal. It's such a tough build. It's so devious and toxic, and I think because of the fact that you can put all those defensive badges in now, if you create this as a new build, and then if you set yourself up for knowing that you can take a finishing badge core off and put it into shooting instead, goes such a long way. And we're here to showcase all of the test builder and stuff like that, as far as like where the badges go, so I can show you, for example, because you may think 20 is not enough. But also, I should mention, because we're through 2 seasons of 2K23, if you're someone who plays the game a lot and maybe you're watching this video, you could also take block and rebound off of this build, because obviously I have them for 28 defensive badges for that exact reason of if you don't have any level 39 rewards over the past couple of seasons, you're going to need these ratings to be able to get it. But for instance, you could take block all the way off, you could take rebound like pretty much as low as possible with still having your prim D at 92, obviously, but nonetheless, like, you get what I'm saying. You could still go with 26 defensive badges is pretty much what I'm getting at here, because you would then have another +2 you could put in, so you could put +6 in to the build on defense. Anyway, this is what I would at least advise as far as going forward if you don't have those, and I'll just leave it like this. For instance, what I would maybe suggest if you do take one of these off because you have an extra level 39 reward, maybe put it more into stamina and maybe acceleration. Those are at least my preferences, but you want the 75 pass act for the extra badge point in LeBron James pass style, 76 speed with ball obviously gives that extra badge point, and then not to mention 75 gives the MJ dribble style, 89 ball handle for the Hall of Fame quick first step, 92 3-pointer, and 78 mid-range for, once again, badge point to 24 for if you don't have the extra core badge slot, because 24 is really big time. Again, I cannot stress enough that it allows you to run 3 tier 3s instead of, if you only had 23, it trolls you. You can only run it on silver. So make sure you have that. 16 finishing, again, very necessary for this, for the limitless takeoff on silver for the quick drops. And also, I do see a lot of people in a lot of videos talk about the speed's pretty low, like 80 speed on a 6'1". That's not really ideal. It's what a lot of these point guards have. It doesn't affect your like movement with the ball in your hand or anything like that. That is acceleration and speed with ball, and for that matter, speed with ball doesn't really matter quite as much either. So literally just like press break, full court, like sort of dribbling where you're just at full speed. Acceleration is by far the most important thing when it comes to how you dribble with a build, and at the end of the day, 88 still moves plenty fine for a shooting guard, and plenty good enough for like a park point guard or something like that too. And again, you may be a little bit hesitant when it comes to making a 6'1" point guard and playing with it in park, because I know how like scary that can be, so to say, when it's a world full of 6'8s and 6'9s and 6'7s. But at the end of the day, the reason the 6'7s are good is because of this and this alone. 99 steal, simple as that. And then pairing that with 92 prim D, you can move plenty fine on LT when it comes to defense. You can still protect yourself by getting takeaways. You are extremely hard to guard with this build. I cannot stress enough. Like very solid acceleration at 88 with Hall of Fame quick first step and still 92 3-pointer, the Trae Young fades and all types of stuff like that, all of the dribble caps and stuff like that that happen with being below 6'4", and in general, quick drop still even too. So it goes a long way, whether it's extra core badged up on shooting or not. So for takeover options, we have shot, sharp, play, and then lock as well. I will mention this to you guys at the very least. My boy Zeke is going to be making this exact same build, and with this acceleration being only 88, if you want to be a two-way sort of build with this, what you could do, and be extremely annoying while doing it as well, is to run perimeter badge drop as your primary. Mind you, 88 acceleration is not a whole lot, so when you're on takeover with lockdown, you're getting +8 to that, so you have 96 acceleration. Not to mention, by the way, if you do take the block off entirely, you can get 1 more acceleration and maybe like 3 more stamina right here, as you can see. So this is the way that I had Zeke make it, because he has 1 of the level 40 or level 39 rewards, so he can put 5 extra defensive badge points in and get that like 32 count that we're looking for to be able to get all the tier 3s on like Challenger, Clamps, Glove, and Interceptor. So this is what he ended up making. So mind you, he's going to have the 89 acceleration, and with that in mind, that gets his acceleration boosted up to 97 when he's on Lock Take Primary. So while it may be a little bit more ideal to be more of a limitless range and spot up precision kind of guy for like Pro-Am and playing like a shooting guard, I will say for Park, Lock might be devious because you're going to be moving extremely fast with that acceleration so high. And then even for the two-way factor of it, you're going to be super annoying with the Hall of Fame Glove Prim badge drop for the Takeover. You're dropping people's Unpluckable from probably gold to silver, which goes hard with the Hall of Fame Glove too. So anyway, I'm going to test this build the way that I had Zeke make it, where it has the 89 acceleration and I dropped the block off on it. But you can go ahead and make it however you want when it comes to that stuff. I just want to test the badges out for you and show you where it's going to be laid out for. So we'll start with playmaking first and foremost. This is a very simple one. You're going to be able to run Bronze Bailout. You're not going to be running Hyperdrive. I have already talked about this with AK and Zeke. They think Hyperdrive for like small point guards is pretty useless. And with that in mind, we're going to be running Silver Handles for days, and then you can core Gold Clamp Breaker. Now I will say, coring Gold Clamp Breaker is a little bit harder. Like I would actually say significantly harder than coring Silver Handles for days. So if you would like, you could go ahead and do this and just run Silver Clamp Breaker and Silver Handles for days, because Silver Handles is going to be extremely like easier to core. But long term, we're looking at probably this more so, where as you can see, you're running the essentials is really all playmaking is. You get Bailout, Quick First Step, Unpluckable, Handles for days, and Clamp Breaker. Simple as that. For defense, this is why I wanted to mention this. Once again, we're running like 2 golds essentially in the tier 2s. Now, if you want to spread that out a little bit like more, or maybe you want, like I said, that box out beast as well on the bronze, you can definitely play around with those tier 2s and tier 1s. But the whole point of it is that, like I said, we're trying to set it up for something like this. So you will then, like I said, be able to add 5 defense. It's very, very key that you do this. And again, this is the one that I made with 1 less defensive badge. And I don't know if I said that right, so I'm just going to go ahead and make the cut right here. You need 28 defensive badges when you make the build, and then add 4. Or you could have like 27 like we have right here and add 5. Or you could have like 26 and add 6. Whatever you have for the season rewards, go ahead and go for it, but you need to get the count to 32 on defense, because as you can see, we have 3 badge points available. If you add 5 more, that means Hall of Fame Glove right here, and you don't have to have an extra defense core or anything like that. It'll just be as simple as core one of your Hall of Fames between Interceptor or Glove, then you could run the other, and boom, you're good from there. You get Challenger, Clamps, Glove, Interceptor, Workhorse, and Pick Dodger. That's hard, man. That is so nasty for playing Wing D. And if you maybe like don't believe in Workhorse like that, you can even just run Menace or something as well. Alright, so then for the finishing, unfortunately there is just 1 extra badge point that you can't really put to use if you want like Aerial Wizard, for instance, because as a shooting guard, you can still like wing cut and catch lobs, etc., etc. If you wanted to drop that off though, you could run Bronze Acrobat instead of Silver Aerial Wizard. It's kind of just a direct trade-off, whichever you find more valuable to you, but nonetheless, you're going to be running probably Giant Slayer on gold right there, Silver Fearless Finisher, and then Silver Limitless Takeoff. Simple as that. Again, I'm not core badging anything right here because generally you probably want to set this up with an extra shooting core badge now with the level 40 stuff, but either way, if you don't want to do that, you could then probably just go ahead and invest something into core badging Limitless Takeoff and then put Slithery on, or core Bronze Slithery and then put Silver Limitless on, whatever way you want to go about that. And then boom, you either have an extra point to then probably run, I would say, Silver Acrobat. At that point, I don't think Aerial Wizard and then anything else between the tier 1s would be worth it. So this is probably what you'd be looking at long term. But again, by that logic of thinking about double core badging shooting, I'm going to show the rest of this without a core badge on finishing, just to show what we would be able to get on shooting if we are able to core it. Now, as far as shooting goes, I'm advising that you probably run something along the lines of this if you plan to play like a point guard, or this if you plan to play like a shooting guard, because then what you can do from there is, as you can see, gold limitless, and then we have like gold blinders, and then you can core Agent 3 on gold as well, or whatever is easiest for you. If you think limitless is easier to grind in the career than Agent 3, or you think Agent 3 is easier to do in the park, whatever the case may be, this is what you'd be able to run as a shooting guard. Now, I don't think this is great currently. It would be nice to add an extra badge. So if you want to go about it in a way where you add like 1 extra shooting and then add like 4 extra defense, if that's what you have the means for, would be kind of nice to run the Hall of Fame Green Machine. I will say that much. Or if you would like, you could just do this. You could run like Silver Catch, Hall of Fame Green. Now, again, I think that ideally, if you play like a point guard, you'd probably want to run something more along the lines of this, where you have Amped and Green Machine. But this is where, once again, if you, and now I need you guys to use your creativity a little bit for this, but let's say, for instance, you were able to core Limitless Range as well, because you can get double shooting core badge on this new update at hitting level 40. At that point, you're going to get 7 more badges. And at that point, also, you can see, you'd be able to run like gold catch and shoot, and you'd be able to have like 5 points right there. You could put 1 more into Green Machine as well. Whether you find Amped necessary or not as a shooting guard, that's probably up to you as well. Midi Magician would be really convenient to run, not to mention Claymore as a spot up could be kind of nice. You will do a lot of wraps and dexing and 2-steps is what it's called too, and you know, stuff like that. So Claymore may or may not be convenient for you, and maybe you would want to run Amped instead. But nonetheless, the shooting badge count doesn't need to be a precise number. The 24 is already really good as is, for like maybe not double core badging shooting. But either way, if you do get that extra core badge, it can go a long way. You can add the clutch, you can add the catch and shoot, you can add 1 more point to Green Machine. You could probably run like, I don't know, maybe bronze or silver Midi Magician, or if you just want to run Hall of Fame Amp too, you could just upgrade both these badges to Hall of Fame and then add gold catch and shoot. Simple as that. You get the Hall of Fame Amped, Hall of Fame Green Machine, gold catch and shoot with gold Agent 3 blinders and limitless range. That goes hard, man. That's actually really sick. So again, just to recap one last time on the difference between a 6'1 and a 6'3, because you may be like, well, what if I just try and make the exact same build but 2 inches taller? Again, keep all these ratings in mind. The 80 dunk, 92.3, 89 ball handle, the same with the speed with ball and pass accuracy, the prim D and steal. You're going to just see literally between the two of them, you can fast forward and rewind between these two because it's going to be about a 10-second difference. Because as you can see, the 6'3" then has those exact same things. Maybe I put extra layup on this because that's where different thresholds are. As you can see, like on the other one, it's 77 layup versus 79 on this one. Same with like the close shot threshold was different, and maybe some other things. I will mention on top of that too, obviously, as you can see, I had to upgrade offensive rebound because for whatever reason, you don't just get an extra badge point on Prim D, so you have to do something to get the 28 defensive badges. Now, if you want to drop that O board down to like wherever you lose a badge point and just go all the way down on that, maybe you just keep like 68 D board and 27 defensive badges, that's fine. But I mean, as you can see, it's not going to add a whole lot. It just adds like 3 acceleration and 1 speed. So nonetheless, my whole point with this is 6'3s are just worse than 6'1s, and so are 6'2s, so are 6 foots, so are 5'11s, 5'10s. 6'1s are just glitched and broken. So to run 2 of them in Pro-Am, if you ask me, one as more of a point guard and the other as more of a shooting guard, like this one at the 6'1 that we created in this video would be, I think that's actually pretty nasty. And some people are not making, obviously, as you can see, 6'3s like this. Like, I mean, if you were to budget a little bit and maybe like drop down some certain things in certain areas, and maybe let's just say you don't care about the extra badge coring and stuff like that, or like to run all of those super crazy defensive ones, and maybe you just run like 86 prim, 95 steal, something like that. As you can see, if you still can try and get your acceleration up to like 90 and then your speed to 80, I mean, you're still lacking quite a bit in some areas, and it doesn't have that same elite defense that a 6'1 at this height would have. You're dropping nearly every badge here on defense by a whole level, and as you can see, like, I mean, you're dropping clamps, interceptor, and glove, and 95 steal does not really go as hard as 99 if we're being honest. Same with the prim defense is going down as well. And at that point, maybe we'll just add like 1 more acceleration and then free throw in as well. Me personally, I'm a little bit underwhelmed by the 6'3. 21 defensive badges is not 28 either, by the way, and it's all at the expense of just being taller. Like, I don't think 6'3s are really the move, and I think if you're running a 6'3 instead of a 6'1, you're kind of trolling yourself. I know a lot of people like to make jokes in this game about the whole, why would I make anything besides a 6'9? Why would I make anything about a 6 besides a 6'8? Or maybe I'll make a 6'7 to be a lock. Nobody really talks about the fact that 6'1s are broken and actually are significantly better than every other surrounding height around them, from literally 5'7 all the way to 6'5 or even 6'6. It's just kind of crazy to me because these builds truly do belong in this game, and they're ridiculously devious in this game. Like this 6'3 stuff is kind of garbage if you ask me. I don't know why you wouldn't just run 2 of these at like the 1 and the 2, and you don't have to run this as a point guard. I'll talk about the top 3 point guard builds and stuff like that in another video that we're probably going to get to really soon. I'm dropping a lot of build vids over this next week or so, but again, I really do think this could be a nasty 2-guard build. Great dunking, great shooting, solid playmaking. It's nothing absolutely insane, but it has all the necessities. And then great defense. I mean, this is crazy. We're definitely going to be having it on the Pro-Am team. I'll tell you that much. Zeke's making it. I'm thinking Apollo might be making it. We're getting Kitchen back, and he made something very similar to this. It has more dunk and a little bit less prim D, but I mean, nonetheless, it's still like the principle stands. This is going to be a nasty build. And I really, one last time, want to mention that running lock take primary on this build when you play with it in the park could be really convenient off that acceleration boost with the +8. That's literally 97 excel right there. And at that point, you're moving like an absolute speed demon. It's going to be crazy. And then you're still plucking people even better. So for those who think that this game is strictly 6'9s and strictly 6'8s, I think you're in for a rude awakening if this build starts to see the park streets a little bit more, is all I'm saying. But anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you all enjoyed. If you did, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff. And like always, try to one to 2,000 likes. Made it to the end of the video, put lock in the comments, search post me all the way through. But anyway, that's all. Hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned. We're going to have the top 3 point guard builds. We're going to have the top 3 lockdown builds, top 3 center builds. All those videos are coming probably within the next couple of days. I'm probably going to be spamming some build videos, so I hope you all enjoy. And other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.